just the mayor of Mission Viejo, but the best possible mayor he can be, and take this city to a new level. And my dad wants to go even further, and wants to go into Congress, and wants to make a difference. He wants to make the right changes, and I'm really proud of him. And tonight I want to introduce Mayor Greg Raths.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And the beautiful First Lady of Mission Viejo, Lucy Raths. Let's hear it for Lucy. Thank you all for coming. It means a lot to me. But there's one reason you're here tonight. And I can tell you right now what it is. One reason is you love your country, or you wouldn't be here tonight. Yeah. And you love your community. And that means so much to me. And another reason you're here, you want to find out why this guy named Greg Raths, mayor of a very affluent city, very prosperous city, safest city in Orange County, balanced budget the last 20 years, at least when you've been on. Why does this guy, high approval rating? We say I got a high approval rating? We all do. We have an amazing council. We're working on the budget, another balanced budget. Why would this guy want to give all that up and go to this place where these congressmen have a 6% approval rating? I'm a patriot. I've been a patriot my whole life. From age 8 years old, I grew up in a loving, intact family of 10. 8 kids, amazing, beautiful parents. My mother and father loved our children. And set at a very young age of 8, got me into Cub Scouts, decided you're going to start learning how to live this life and be successful in life. And when I turned 11, my father was my Boy Scout leader. I became a Boy Scout. And I remember when I was a Boy Scout, you learn one thing at age 11 that's still with me today. I'm 65 now. I'm on my honor to do my best, to do my duty to God and my country. There's nothing in that about yourself. To help other people at all times, to keep myself physically fit, mentally awake, and morally straight. I learned that at age 11. And I remember I was playing Little League, and I told my mom I wanted a new baseball mitt. I had this old raggedy one. And she said, if you want a mitt, go get a job. It wasn't like I'm going to go buy you one. So she got me a job as a paper boy. I had 54 papers. And Dave, you had a paper route too. And at the end of the week, we made like $6-7, and we get a new mitt if we had the money, or you get a baseball. We used to have these baseballs with just, the twine. It didn't even have the leather on top of it. I mean, these kids today don't understand. So I learned at an early age what a dollar meant. And I learned responsibility. And I continued my life that way. I went into high school, a Catholic high school. We couldn't afford it. We had to go, my mom said, if you want to go to a Catholic high school, you got to pay for it. So I started a lawn service when I was 14. I cut like 14 lawns on a Saturday so I could pay my tuition to go to a Catholic high school. So I learned the value of a dollar. And then I ran for my class president, and I won that. And I remember at that age taking American history about a president named Teddy Roosevelt. Everyone's heard of Teddy Roosevelt, turn of the century, Republican, turned progressive, but a great guy. He wrote this he gave this amazing speech in 1910. And it said, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull it out. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. It's called the arena speech. Who at the best knows in the end of triumph of high accomplishment, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So I've lived by those words ever since. And at that point, I joined the United States Marine Corps out of Arizona State University. I joined the ROTC program and became a Marine Corps officer to be a fighter pilot. My father was a World War II pilot. Just celebrated the 75th anniversary of D-Day. He flew 2 combat missions on D-Day. He flew several others before D-Day. He passed away a few years ago at age 97, but he was just an amazing guy. Distinguished Flying Cross, Bronze Star, numerous air medals. So I listened to my father's stories. I said, Dad, I want to be a fighter pilot. I want to be a jet pilot. So he got me involved, and I joined the program, and off I went to Pensacola, Florida. Beautiful Pensacola. Beautiful white sandy beaches. I'm flying. I'm living the life. 1976. I get my wings, and they're going to go, you're going to go to a base called El Toro, California. Yo, baby. Beautiful El Toro. So my buddy and I, there's 3 of us, we're living on the beach in Newport Beach, flying the jets, loving life. Life couldn't be greater. And then we heard about this town called Mission Viejo, south of the city, south of the base. It is a brand new city. And they said, we got to buy a house. And we're like 24. We don't buy houses at 24. We spend our money on booze and fast cars and everything else. But the 3 of us got together, and we got the money. We bought a house in Mission Viejo in 1978, and off we went. So I've been a resident and a homeowner since 1978, now 41 years in Mission Viejo. And I met my wife at the Officers Club at El Toro, right out of Top Gun. And I sang to her, you never close your eyes anymore when you kiss your lips. And she married me, believe it or not.
He was an outstanding Marine Corps officer, outstanding Marine Corps fighter pilot, flew that A4, F4, F-18, multiple combat missions, over 70 of them, flew on the aircraft carrier day and night, commanded a squadron, an air group, and temporarily commanded an air wing as well.
3 years, I was the Chief of Staff of the White House Military Office. I worked in the East Wing of the White House. I was a squadron commander flying F-18s off the USS Abraham Lincoln. I was a group commander down in Miramar. When El Toro shut down, we moved down to Miramar. And I finished as a wing commander, 4th Marine Air Wing. The commanding generals were usually run by a general, and I was a colonel. He had to depart for 6 months, so I took over the wing, which was the first time in 51 years a Marine Corps colonel had ever commanded a wing. So in 2005, I finally retired. I went to work for JetBlue as a commercial airline pilot. Found that, where's my American guy? Found that very boring, I know. But the money was good. Retired from them, and then I got into politics. I love Mission Viejo. I love serving with Trish and Brian. Ed and Wendy, we have a great, great city council. We have an amazing city. But there's something, I thought Mimi Walters would never lose, who's our congresswoman who lost in 2018. I mean, she was like the person that would be there for 30 years. So I never even thought of this seat. You know, I was looking to stay put. And then several people, this guy right here, came to me and says, we need you to run for this seat. We need you in Congress. And I understand Washington. Like I said, I've been there for 4 years. I understand the White House. I understand the Pentagon. And I understand Congress. So 2 weeks ago, I officially announced that I am a candidate for United States House of Representatives, 45th Congressional District.
I look at this transition from being a colonel in the Marine Corps 30 years to what he's doing today, and he absolutely loves it.
As a congressman, what are you going to expect from me? I want to represent you in Washington. I want to be your eyes and ears in Washington and come back and represent you all. I'm not here to represent special interests. I'm not here to represent the establishment. I'm here to represent you. And I was telling you earlier, Laura, when someone calls my office, someone's going to answer the phone. It's not going to be a recording. They're going to answer the phone, and we're going to find out what you need. And Mark, you know how that is with our current congresswoman. When you call her, we don't get an answer. So we're going to make sure you get an answer. And I'm going to represent you and come back and talk to you and be around this district. Because my job's one thing is to legislate. The House of Representatives handles the power of the purse. I want to ensure every dollar that you spend, that you send to Washington, when you buy something and pay taxes, it goes to Washington, that money is used correctly. I'm sure you heard this from all these candidates, but I'm 65. I'm not looking to be president or something. This is what I want to do. I want to represent you and get it done right. So there's 3 things that I'm going to push. Okay, number 1, national security is number 1. I want to ensure our federal government has one particular thing to do, and that's national security. Take care of our borders and protect our borders. If you want people to come in, they get vetted. We want to understand who the heck they are. We want to make sure they have a job. We want to make sure they have a sponsor to secure the borders, and we're very loving and compassionate country. We're going to help people come into our country, but we're going to do it the right way. And our president is ensuring that's going to happen. Number two is I want to protect your liberties. So you can do what you want when you want, without the government overseeing and telling you what to do. You probably saw that in Ukraine or Russia or wherever some of you are from. The government's always there on top of you. Protect our liberties. And number three, protect our great Constitution. The Constitution was written for one reason, to give us rights, to give us the right to be here tonight, talking to all you without worrying about the Gestapo or someone coming in and telling us to shut this down and taking a bunch of us away. What an amazing country. And as a military officer for 30 years, I've been to 65 countries around the world, and there's not one country that I'd rather be than the United States of America. Let's hear it for the United States of America. So you're right to bear arms, you're right for speech, pastor, right to go to your church and preach or do what you pray to God. I mean, what an amazing concept. Maintain our rights, ensure our liberties, and protect our borders, and take care of our military. Have a strong U.S. military. So as people who've been to combat, we don't want to go to combat. We're not warmongers. Peace through strength, as Ronald Reagan would say. So maintain a strong military. Right? And take care of our veterans. I was just at Long Beach Hospital the other day. Amazing what has happened since President Trump's been in office. I mean, I had an appointment, I got a call, I got a postcard, make sure I'm there. Once I was there, they took care of me, so take care of our veterans. But I can't do it alone. I need your help. We got a long road ahead, so I'm going to thank you all for coming.
So I wanted to say, Dad, I love you, and thank you for everything you've done.
You do? All right.
I do. Absolutely. It's on the record. It's on the record.